Coach and the Casual. We're back in studio. We're recapping UFC 314. I'm the coach, Ramsey Nijem, and as per usual, my co-host, the Casual, Kyle Deever. Let's get into it. Bro, you were right, man. I know.
To be honest, I'm always right. First of all, I'd like to talk about, before we talk about the 314, I would like to talk about, obviously, Ramadan's over and you're living up your Islamic culture. I can see you've chosen a very Persian outfit. How many days of Ramadan did you fast?
2.
Liar.
2.5. Yeah. Let's go.
Bilal said that it makes him better, but do you think, have you ever fought against a practicing Muslim during Ramadan?
I mean, I'm not going to name names, and I know a very famous fighter right now that was during Ramadan, and I was in the PFL, and they were there with one of their teammates, some Dagestani Russian, and they're all talking about fasting, and I walk out of my room, and I see this famous Islamic fighter, maybe named after the fucking religion itself, eating, he's like, and I was like, oh. So you know what, bro? No one can judge anyone.
Oh, gosh. It was funny because that same guy was talking on the podcast. Or it wasn't him.
No, it wasn't him.
It was not Bilal.
No, it wasn't Bilal.
It was Bilal Muhammad.
No, someone else. That didn't speak English back then, and they maybe know a little bit now. And I was like, I saw them because they were giving me shit. This is a while ago, probably 2017, 18, right when the PFL was getting going. And the only real big name was Khabib at the time, but he would still travel with 40 of them, and they'd be they knew I was Muslim, and it was during Ramadan, and I was eating, and they're like, brother, what are you doing? I'm like, bro, I'm fighting. I couldn't imagine fasting. And even what's his name said he couldn't. Onkolov.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, because he's like, he'd probably die. You know, and honestly, in the religion, it does say you can add it on later on. So I mean.
Oh, so you think they're allowed to do it later? Interesting.
Well, that's what it does say. I mean, and it's everyone takes it, but then there's all those soccer players that have been fasting and been killing it. I mean, Masala for Liverpool had literally scored the most goals ever, right? Yeah, literally he set the record in that time while he was during fast. So, and he said he was fasting the whole time, and he'd always break during when the sun would set and he's playing. But then I mean, it's different cutting weight because you can actually die. They're not going to die playing soccer.
What about because there's other fasting religions. The Catholics were just doing Lent.
Yeah, and my fighter.
How did Julian do?
Julian does it.
Because he never ended up fighting because his guy pulled out.
Yeah.
But how was he doing in training given that he had to fast and only eat fish and stuff?
That's only on Fridays.
It's only on Fridays.
Okay. So, but you have to fast during the day?
No.
Okay.
They just have to give something up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then I train Mormons, but they only fast on you guys Sundays.
Once a month.
Once a month Sunday. So they it doesn't really cross train. I think the only one really would be Muslims. But I mean, I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy. And I didn't grow up really I grew up more in a Mormon home. My mom's Mormon and white. So I didn't grow up fasting. So I think it's very culturally different. While Bilal's, both of his parents are Palestinian Muslims. And so in his home, it was part of their religion. You know what I mean? It's a lot different.
You just grew up with it?
Yeah, and to me, it was novelty. You know what I mean? I'm Christmas, I get presents.
Yeah. How did you, we talked a little bit about that, and, you were the first Palestinian?
Yeah, and the first Arab. I was actually one of the first Arab professional athletes, really.
The first Palestinian, so you were the first Palestinian to be knocked up by Tony Ferguson. But what other firsts did you have as a Palestinian?
I don't know. Probably that's it.
Just kidding. Did they, so when
in the UFC,
when you later signed with Ali, did you have to?
But you know what's crazy? I grew up in America, so it's kind of to me, those things were very I think I was the first Palestinian D1 wrestler too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it was kind of a big deal maybe, but no one really cares because wrestling wasn't as cool as it is now, which is kind of funny because like I was like talking this morning and this guy that I trained that's like he's like probably richer than you, but he's like a really smart business dude, and he does a lot of like traveling and talks a lot about business and people.
Does he wear glasses?
No, he doesn't wear glasses, and those aren't even real, bro.
Got him.
I mean, honestly, they look good. Like I'm low key kind of turned on by him, but he was saying like as an adult, everyone needs like a fringe or a weird hobby because like that will make like you have like something that you're passionate about. That's like you don't do it for anybody else, and it's kind of funny because he was telling me that, and I was like, dude, that was what jiu-jitsu was. You know, now like we used to do it in like random ass places because people like there was no such thing as jiu-jitsu gyms. Like you would go and train in a wrestling room after hours that it's closed, and it's kind of crazy watching the evolution of it being mainstream and then you having all these fucking politicians at the fights, dude.
Yeah.
That fucking pisses me off.
Elon was there.
I know. And then you got Mark Rubio there. I'm like, and then the fucking feds are there. You're like, dude, this used to be cool. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't give a shit what your politics are, but I don't want a fucking fed there. That's gay, man.
Mark Zuckerberg keeps being at every fight now.
He's a nerd. I don't want him there, bro. Here's the thing. Tech nerds are the locus of modern day society, and they take over everything and ruin it. Like, all the cities I've lived in, Seattle, ruined by tech nerds. San Francisco, ruined by tech nerds. Salt Lake, currently being ruined by tech nerds. They all move in here, dress the same, wear fake glasses.
What's your thoughts on the Earth being flat? Because you remind me a lot of Bryce Mitchell right now.
Yeah, bro. I mean, yeah.
What else do you hate about society? Speaking of which, let's talk 314 because I was right about most things. I was wrong about one thing. Let's start at the bottom. Let's start at the bottom of the main card.
Our Sung Chickaboo guy, he looked good. Did you see him? Watch him?
I don't watch
the Chinese guy? Bro, he's actually a problem, dude.
Good.
Remember we didn't know his name? I was like, I have to watch him. And then, I mean, I watch every fight, unlike some casuals. But honestly, bro, he's a problem.
First fight of main card, I would never. I don't even.
Or how about what about the Dan Ige fight?
The important thing is I don't even think that. I feel like discussing undercard is not worth our time. Anyone's time.
Bro, it's so worth it. What about Dan Ige?
I've never heard of her.
You know Dan. His fight, he fought the fucking 6'3" guy. Did you see that one?
Dan Ige is the one that took short notice against
Diego Lopes.
And got his head, he got his head punched a lot.
I know, but he took Diego into deep water. You know what I mean? And
why doesn't he get to move up on off of the undercard then? They did him dirty.
Well, bro, the card was stacked. That fight's card was even the undercard was like
Jim Miller. Chase Hooper.
Yeah, Chase Miller and Chase Hooper had a war on the undercard. That was a good fight. But, I mean, dude, Youth came through and, like, you know, that was tough. But Chase Hooper did a good job. He was using his front kick, kind of keeping distance and then forcing, like, the jiu-jitsu scrambles, which made him, like, tired. And, I mean, that's a great way to fight an old guy, just kind of wear him down. So that was a good fight. And then what was the black dude that got the knockout early on? That was wild, bro. Like Torres or –
Yeah, the guy that got knocked out was the Cedric Dumas, like the one that like was the controversial. Like he got up and he was like, "I'm not out."
Yeah, but he got slept, dude.
Yeah, that was the Michael. I can't pronounce his last name. But
give it a try.
Alexia Juk.
Yeah. I know, bro. That's these names. Like they should all have nicknames. Like they should like. Call themselves like the Raptor or something easy to say, you know? Like, he definitely could be the Raptor, right? But there was some good bangers. And then Dan Ige, and they went to war. He got picked apart and then ended up getting a finish. Kind of a controversial stop. Did you see the fight?
Undercard, no.
Okay, Stove, you saw the fight.
Yeah.
Bro, what do you think about that stop?
I was thinking it was almost a fair stoppage. A lot of people didn't think so, but I thought Danny Ige was kind of piecing him up right there.
Yeah, like he landed a bunch of shots, but dude, in the UFC, like I see local amateur fights that we're just kind of special here in Utah, but local amateur fights that they'll let him go a little bit more. And you're like, come on, let it go a little bit more. Like, dude, I think Dan still should have won. Like, yeah, but like I hate when it's like that early controversial because you're like,
you want a dude to get his brain punched in? I mean, how controversial was it?
bro, I want to get my brains punched in. I get pissed if someone stopped that shit early on me. It's kill or be killed out there, you know?
I don't know. If he's going to lose, is it going to be like with Strickland, where Strickland got hit by Poton, goes down, comes back up only to eat another one?
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. What's his name again? I just drew a blank.
The guy Danny Gay fought?
No, yeah, it's Woodson.
Sean Woodson?
Yeah, Woodson was up 2 rounds. So if he would have survived the onslaught, he would have won the fight 2 rounds to 1. So that's kind of like maybe let him fight. I don't know. If he was losing already the 2 rounds, you're like, okay, well.
The thing is, I think you and I would both be terrible refs for different reasons. You would let things go too long, and me, I'd be like, ooh, no, stop it.
Yeah, you would cry.
I'm like, please stop hitting
You're not
him.
made for this world, dude.
I hate watching it up because I'm like, dude, I used to love MMA, and I still do. But I like watching it on TV because in person, I'm like, dude, that looks so painful.
Yeah. But I mean, like, dude, let him fight it out a little bit. I think that Woodson.
What is the motivation to do it? This is what I'll never understand. Somebody like Partridge is a good example. Partridge has no desire to make it to the show, right? He doesn't. He openly says it. He just wants to fight because, or like, who's that other big bastard? Eric
Iman?
Silverback. Yeah, Iman. No desire to get to the show, just wants to fight. Why?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's you have to ask them.
I
Can't
just don't
understand
get
why
it.
people do what they do, bro. You'll make you go crazy.
I'm too much. Like for me, I'm too money motivated. Like for me, I got it. Okay, I'll go through this thing so I can eventually make money. But these guys have no desire to make it to the show.
I'm all glory motivated. Unless it's on a big glory, I'm out, dude.
I don't know. Did you when you fought Amy, you did it with the intention to go fight?
I never had an amateur fight because they didn't really have them back then. But yeah, I literally was like, I'm just smash some bro. You know what? If we had the TV in here, I wish we could pull up right now, like my first fight, because it's so brutal, bro. Like they were so brutal, like fighting these guys.
Who's your best students? The ones that are fighting to try and make it to the show, or the ones that train just to do in a normal fight?
Bro, remember Glover said that to us. He said the worst thing for a student is to want to fight because they're going to fight and they're either going to most of them are just going to quit. Like, because most of them don't make it and won't continue it. And they get, oh shit, this is really not for me. While the best ones are just people that want to train. Like, you know, as a martial artist coach, like one of the things you're trying to do is like, you're literally molding people. You know what I mean? Like you're pulling them out the best. But fighting really doesn't do it. It's the day in, day out training. And you want and you see like anybody. And that's why like Glover, like when he saw you, was like, you should train because he knows what it can mold you into a man. But then I had to tell him on the side, I was like, we've tried that. Like, you're not made of marble. You're made of like shit that just falls apart. And
I think he's got a better eye for what a man is, and he saw that in me.
No, he hated you.
Because on the side,
and he wanted to fuck you up in
he
training.
told me Ramsey's a pussy. And I was like,
Yeah,
I agree with
dude.
that.
He's on the side. He was like, please, when this guy trains, let me know. I will come and smash him. He dreams of it.
But answer that question for me. What is a better motive? Let's say both want to fight. What's a better driver to be better? Wanting to make it to the UFC or just wanting to fight people?
I think like wanting to make it to the UFC.
Of course, because then you got a goal, right?
Yeah, and you got a goal, and you got to and you'll go for the bigger picture, take smarter fights.
Like, who's your one kid? Oh, man. You know, we talk about Julian a lot. Julian's my boy and everything. But your one kid is special, that long, tall one who did the Johnny Walker and messed up his leg in the celebration.
Oh, Hunter?
Who's that kid?
Yeah, he's a badass, bro. But, you know, he's still so green. He just kind of has got that twitch. And that's
the
what
way
you
that
need.
kid fought,
yeah.
that's probably one of
like
all
someone owes him money.
Of
you know
all
what I mean?
your fighters, I'd say he was probably one of the best.
Well, you
fighters.
don't know Mike really that much yet. You haven't really seen him fight.
Oh, Asian Mike?
Yeah.
Remember he popped my ankle?
Yeah, you do know Mike, yeah.
That rules, Mike.
And like he's starting to hit it, and he's pretty special because he's
but you know, those are all little guys. Even Talon's going to fight at what, 45, 55?
Yeah.
The way that kid has length, those are the exciting
and
fighters.
he's size. And he was like a tight end or something in football.
What's
like
he fight
college.
at, 75?
No, like 85, bro.
He should fight at 75 like Holland.
No, bro, he's like lean already. And he's still young. Like he's green. We're gonna get him stronger, more technical. because he is just a wild horse. Isn't he?
What did he break on that celebration? Because I saw him do
His toe. But he broke both of his hands on the guy's fucking head, like right off the bat. And that's even like why like I don't really believe in amateur fights for some people, because some people like him, he's just violent.
Yeah.
So the more amateur fights, the worse it is. Like you just need to get him technical.
Yeah.
And like he's a fucking dog. Like you just hold on to that leash. And you know, a lot of people like spar too much and stuff like that. Like he loves to spar, and I'll take that away from kids like that, because like you want him like.
How old is he?
He's like 23 or something.
That kid was, of all the ones I've seen, Talon's obviously a monster.
And he's got high school wrestling background. Yeah. And this is the thing, is like a lot of people think you need this big wrestling pedigree, but not really. If you just wrestled in high school and you're subpar in high school, who cares? Because you're not reaching those diminishing returns of like some of these really, really high level wrestlers have such bad habits that they can't break.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? While you get a kid that wrestled that was good in high school, like, you know, place in state or something, and then you get them and teach them how to fight, they're the scary ones, you know? And like how
do you think in wrestling, let me ask you a wrestling opinion. I've got a son. I think I want to put him in wrestling, right? Mm-hmm. I think it's good for discipline, amongst a lot of other things.
But kick your ass by the time he's like 8.
But the thing is, I don't want him. It feels like a lot of people try and get as small as possible. I want him to get bigger. I want him to fight in bigger divisions.
Yeah.
Right? Because you fight in smaller divisions to get an advantage, right? But you want, that's not going to translate to the real world eventually.
Well, and that's the thing that's kind of dying away, I think, in wrestling is the weight cutting. Like, because it is an advantage, you know, being bigger. But now they have all these, like, especially in high school. And, like, when I was coaching high school, I didn't let most of my kids cut. If they wanted to cut big, like, I had, like, maybe my seniors or juniors that are, like, older. And I'm like, okay, like, they can cut and they have a place of, like, they have a goal in mind. Like, well, at this weight, I can win state. And you're like, all right, that makes sense. But if they're just cutting just to compete, you're kind of a pussy. You know what I mean? Even when I was in college, bro, like, I didn't want to cut a lot of weight. I wrestled 74s, and, like, everyone on my team would be cutting all this weight, and I'd just be like, whatever, man. Like, I was eating, like, enjoying it. Like, I had to get up in the morning, like, sweat F, like, you know, 6-7 pounds. But, like, nothing crazy, you know, and then, like, be able to eat. And I was, like, honestly, like, I would rather, like, because I cut in high school too much, and I learned my mistake, man. I was like, I'd rather be a little bigger and not, you know, avoid weights and stuff.
I mean, it makes sense to do bigger cuts when you're going to the UFC, right?
Yeah, like when there's money involved.
Money, but not only money, but also like such a skill set that you want to fight smaller guys.
Well, and like even then, like it's almost just because of like the prisoner dilemma. Everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to. Otherwise, you're fighting a guy that's way bigger. You know what I mean?
That's insane. You just pulled out Prisoner's Dilemma. I'm sure.
What?
That's a good reference. It's good.
Oh, you want to know where I learned it from?
Yeah.
Because I was on HBO's show, like Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. They were following me like on one of my weight cuts, and they were talking about extreme weight cutting and how deadly it is. I don't even know how they got my number or anything. So they were following me, and then the guy that was hosting, I forget his name, like
probably Brian Gumbel.
Is that it? No, it wasn't Brian. It was like Tony. Or, you know what I'm talking about?
I think we featured it in one of the older episodes.
Yeah, one of the older guys, and like he's in it. Yeah, so like, and he used that reference, so I learned that what it was.
You've held on to that all these years, huh? How many times do you think in that time you've dropped Prisoner's Dilemma to feel smart? Because I was surprised.
That's the only way to describe the weight cutting dilemma, bro. It really is. It really is a dilemma. Like, how do you deal with it? And I learned that. Are your glasses, your fake glasses, hurting your eyes?
No, it made me cry. I was truly impressed with your. It feels like you're evolving.
Yeah, no, bro. It's just
the CTE is slowly seeping away.
Yeah,
the earth is healing.
Honestly, bro, it's just I've just been like not getting hit all the time.
Yeah,
you know. I don't spar anymore. I think that's lo and behold, not getting punched in the head's kind of good for you, right? Who cares?
Okay, let's talk Dominick Reyes.
Holy shit, bro!
Insane.
You know, and here's the thing: Dom in his prime.
He was a championship fighter.
I mean, he brought John Jones to deep water. He is arguably John Jones. Him and Alex Gustafsson are John Jones' two toughest fights, right? And John Jones is literally the GOAT, like. oh, Dana. Dana's like, John Jones is the GOAT. Like, he just loves that so much. But, yeah, like, he legitimately is. And, bro, if he slept 3 people in a row, what's next for him?
Yeah. I mean, he's going to move up.
I'd say give him Alex.
Oh, no. At light heavyweight?
Bro.
No, I bet he fights. Who did Alex just beat up here?
Yuri.
No. Here. Khalil.
Oh.
I bet he fights Khalil.
That's a great fight. But
because Alex is immediately getting his rematch.
Yeah, that's true. Alex isn't getting his rematch.
And I bet he fights Khalil, and I bet if he wins that, he gets to fight Alex. Because Yuri's had 2 shots at it now with Alex.
Yeah.
They're not going to let him do it again.
But they need someone on a win.
Yeah, Dominick's on a 3-win streak.
No, I'm saying like for Dominick.
No, because Khalil was fighting for the belt.
Yeah, you think so? It's just, I mean, that's what sucks. What we were talking about for the fighters that fight for the belt. If you lose, you're like, have such little momentum. And then it's like, guess what? You get to fight someone that's on a 3-fight winning streak.
You get to fight somebody who's a monster.
Yeah, who's like confident and like, good luck getting your confidence back against this guy. I don't know. I just think Dominick should almost even be in a title contention.
No, that's too obvious. That's true. I mean, Alex gets his immediate get back.
Who else though? Like, bro, because Yuri's lost. Like, all these guys have lost to Alex.
Khalil's the perfect one because let's say Alex loses again. Yeah. Then the winner of Khalil Reyes fights Ankalaev.
I think it should be Dom right away, Alex versus someone else, and then but they're gonna give Alex a rematch.
Hey, what's ever happened? This is totally off topic, and it's heavyweight. But have we not heard from Derek Lewis since he fought here in Salt Lake?
I thought fought in Mexico.
Yeah, I don't know.
He didn't just fight in Mexico.
He's number 9. Sorry, he's number 9 right now.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on.
He fought in May last year, so it's been a year.
That's just kind of hard right now, though. Like with 205, is Alex cleaned it out, so it's like who are you gonna have?
You think
fight?
Alex moves down, fights Dricus?
I mean, why not?
If he loses to Ankalaev, I bet he goes down to fight Dricus.
Which, did you see Hamzat tweeted?
Yeah, that he got signed.
Maybe. He didn't. It's kind of general. It's like good news. But, I think Dricus du Plessis, Hamzat for sure.
Definitely.
Like, that's such a hype. Like,
I thought it was already signed.
No, it's not already. It should be signed. See, the casual order, that's all you know. Why would it be anything else? Because, that's all you can think in your head is. And, there's no one else for du Plessis. And, once again, they're talking about Bilal moving up. You're like, come on, bro.
Bilal
There's too
can't
many.
Move up.
Yeah, and the same with Islam. I'm like, dude, clean out your divisions. Just like how Ilia moved up in Topuria, and he has all these great fights he could have fought. He could have fought Diego Lopes, got a knockout. He could fight Mozart. That'd be a great fight. Aaron Pico now coming in the mix.
But let's talk Aaron Pico. Let's talk PFL guys. That takes us to Yair and Pitbull anyway.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
I told you that Yair. First of all, Yair sat in these chairs, right? Yes, Mel.
Oh yeah.
Coolest guy, but he is hands down got some of the best hands in the entire company. And look what he did to Pitbull. Pitbull was complaining about hands to the back of the head early. That's always a sign that a guy's in trouble.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
Well, and I think that's the show of the UFC. If you're in the UFC, it doesn't matter if you're on the undercard, you're fighting killers. So you have 10, 15 fights in the UFC, and then, Patricio has 10 or 15 fights in, PFL, former Bellator, and the toughest guy he beat was Chandler, and Chandler just got his ass kicked by Paddy.
Yeah.
And Chandler's what, 2-8?
Yeah.
Right? Or 2-7 or
we'll talk about Chandler.
Yeah. But anyways, though, Yair just showed his toughness and his ability to fight at the higher level. And Patricio showed that he should probably move down to 35.
Oh, but he's 40-something. Imagine
I know, man. It's so hard to be that old in that
And he'll be fighting Marab.
Marab, yeah, exactly. But you know what? I think that's a better fight than Yair. Yair's range is crazy. His ability, and that's the thing, is what did Pitbull bring that Yair hasn't seen in there? You know what I mean? He's fought Volk. He's fought all these guys, and Pitbull's
more like a Volk. He's a slugger with him.
Yeah, and exactly. And then he fought all the best guys in the world, and that's really at the end of the day why there isn't a competition with the UFC, because they literally will sign all the best guys in there, and it's this dog eat dog world. It's not like other organizations where Bellator will be like, oh, we want to protect our champ. We want to feed our champ. UFC's like, how can we get you to lose?
Yeah.
And then they feed you your weakness. And that's what, like, Yair, like, oh, you don't know how to wrestle? Here's 12 wrestlers in a row. You know what I mean? Like,
What'd you think of that Yair and Diego Lopes stuff at the press
oh,
conference?
bro, I mean, that's kind of hypey. I wish Diego won, but now Yair doesn't even want to Yair should be a title contender.
No, Yair should fight Diego.
You think so?
I think so.
I mean, it'd be in Mexico. Imagine that shit.
Well, because Diego's a Brazilian.
Yeah,
But
that trains in Mexico.
Trains in Mexico. Yeah, Yair doesn't get a title shot, I don't think, because who's about to be right now?
Well, and that's what's crazy about the featherweights became exciting, but there's now Mozart, Aaron Pico, both of them are in title, and Yair, number
if Yair
5.
was ever going to win the title, it would be against Volk, though, because that was a close fight, and Volk was in his prime.
Bro, exactly. And now Volk is like, I mean, Volk looked great, but he looked a little slower.
Oh, he's all. And the thing is, he tagged him up twice early in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Those last 3 rounds were questionable, and Diego came back.
It's like, the old Rocky. The last thing that goes power and the first thing speed, and you can see that in the first 2 rounds.
How old? How old's Volk? 26. No, you got the wrong person.
37.
37.
36, sorry.
Yeah.
Or 36, 37.
Yeah, I was like, no
But
shot.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I think, like, yeah, Volk is still in his looking good.
Volk is not in his prime. He looks old.
He's in great form. Can he beat Ilia Topuria? And that's the problem.
Hell no.
And that's why, like, everyone, like, why did you give them the
What do you think
title?
about Ilia versus Yair?
No.
That'd be a great fight.
Yeah.
A lot of striking. That's basically a rematch of Max versus Ilia.
Well, who do you want to see Aaron fight then coming in?
Pico?
Yeah.
He can fight. What is he, a striker or a wrestler? I don't even know the guy.
Bro, the dude's a world champ wrestler and a national champ boxer.
Yeah, I never heard of him.
Exactly, because he's from Bellator.
Yeah.
That's why. So I want to see him
His
fight.
name is a Mexican condiment.
Yeah, yeah. He
Pico
should,
guy.
like, definitely fight a top 10 guy.
No, he should start at the undercard like every other guy coming in off the street.
And then I think Mozart versus Volk is the only fight.
Mozart.
Evloev, who's undefeated, who beat Sterling his last fight.
Mosvar. Huh?
Mozart, yeah. Like, I think it should be him versus Volk. That's, like, the real champ. And then, yeah, you're right. Maybe have Yair and Diego fight.
No, what about Yair and Ilia? That's the fight. Don't you
But
think?
Ilia wants to go 55.
Oh, that's right.
He's
That's
up
right.
at Islam. And that's what's kind of frustrating. That's what we were saying earlier is, like, he had so many great – like, if he would have knocked Diego Lopes out, these are things that make you the champ. It's not just, like, moving up and around. It's, like, solidifying yourself, like, killing everyone else in their weight, Like, if Bilal goes and, beats Jack, which I think he's going to do, then he beats the next Shavkat, then he beats, Ian Gary.
There's a lot of exciting fights that are supposed to because Shavkat was supposed to fight.
That's what I'm saying. Like, these guys are moving up, and all they talk about is moving up, and that's what's, like,
Shavkat's 55?
No, 70.
70.
And that's what I think is a dumb part on these champs. Instead of trying to move up and be a Conor McGregor or whatever, or, Daniel Cormier, these guys that did it. Henry Cejudo. I think that time's instead become the most scared champ in your division.
Speaking of which, did you see that Henry's belt got jacked?
Yeah, then it was on eBay.
Oh, I didn't see it on eBay.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if it was. Did you guys see that? Like, on their podcast, they were looking, and it was on eBay, and it was like the one that got jacked, and Henry's like, no way, it's not it.
I didn't see that part.
You know what my favorite though? I love how they like the disrespect. They didn't take the TJ belt.
Because it's not a real belt.
Yeah, because he didn't really beat TJ. Sorry, Henry.
So
That's a questionable win.
The thing that's really questionable is I know the kid that was sleeping on the couch. That one, his name is Dylan. That says, "Oh, I thought it was Henry." I'm like, he was just being a pussy. He should have gone and done it.
What
Because you know how in the story, like there was a kid that was sleeping on the couch when somebody came in and took the belts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the kid's name is Dylan.
Oh, you know?
Yeah, I know. He's Henry's videographer. Huh?
Did he take the belt, you think?
No, he didn't take it. He would lose. I mean, he's attached at the hip to Henry all the time.
Oh, really?
But I think he was just being a pussy. He didn't want to go handle it.
And fight the guy?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, what's going on with Henry?
If you're watching this, Dylan,
I feel like people are like Henry got his neighbor's house got crashed into.
Well, that's what Kamaru told me. He's like, hey, you gave away your address, basically. You doxed yourself.
Oh, dang, he did.
Because like he was on the news, and then somebody would just need to look up a news story of where the accident was. Bam, right next to his
Dude, you motherfuckers out there are dirty, dude.
Yeah.
The internet's dirty, man.
Yeah, that's
Dang,
dangerous.
so they doxed him and just came in.
Doxed himself, damn it.
Yeah, and then they're like, but they didn't want to take the TJ belt.
Well, that's what I think. It's got to be something weird, because if you were there, you'd steal both belts.
No, bro, you don't want to. With the TJ one's not worth shit, dude.
It's a UFC belt. Right? I know you've never held one before, but it's a UFC belt.
You wouldn't get it, dude. You wouldn't get it. You're not a real underground fan.
Okay,
Stove gets it, right? You would leave that belt, right, Stove?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I'd leave them both because I'm not a
I would
thief.
take the Mighty Mouse one. That's the real one.
Okay, so now let's talk about my only loss of the night.
Bro,
Chandler versus
Patty's
Paddy.
the man right now.
Chandler got whooped. It was
That's
bad.
another Bellator guy coming over.
First of all, is there any way at all that he's natty?
And
Natty. Is he natural?
the same way that maybe his first kids are his.
Oh, my gosh. But you see how jacked he is? He's got to be on something, right? How do you get around it, though? There's no shot that he's that jacked otherwise.
Probably just some Jesus, bro. You wouldn't get it. You're morbid. He doesn't jack you guys up. Dude, you know what's funny is like the same people that thought Chandler was gonna win were the ones cheering on when the Mark Rubio was in the crowd. Probably like, yeah, a senator's there. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Put in some like gangster rap guy that is scared. That's not gonna go because the Fed's there. You know what I mean? There's a federal guy there, bro.
I think you just have. I think it's just your own stuff bleeding out. I'm happy with the Feds being there. It's more legitimate.
That's why I'm.
There
Oh
was
my
a time
gosh.
when John McCain called it human cockfighting.
Yeah, and now they're there like cheering it on. It was cool when it was human cockfighting. That's what I'm saying. I'm a fringe boy. Put it out on the fringe again. I liked it
I
with
knew them
this.
before they were cool.
Yeah, like
Before they were mainstream. You're just a hipster.
no, not even. I'm just saying it's gonna make it uncool. That's the problem. They're now attaching themselves to a certain political side. That's why you don't play politics. That's why we don't talk politics, because one side wins, one side loses, and then you're like on the fringe. You know what I mean?
Remember the time that I came in the gym and I was like, oh, put on this one song, and it was that Richmond, north of Richmond. And you were like, bro, this song's about you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what, you like listen to the guy would hate you, bro. Like he would definitely be like, I'm gonna burn you alive. But then that's why I'm like, dude, fighting's supposed to be an escape. Sports is an escape. Politics don't belong here. And I know sometimes people say that, but here's the real truth. Do you want to hear my political opinions?
No.
Do you want to hear Sean Strickland's?
Sometimes. He's funny.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know what escape is. But
Escape.
do you think that
Yeah,
Paddy...
because you can't escape, bro.
Do you think Paddy is the real deal now? His hype train is back on the tracks?
I don't know, bro. It's still like he's only fought old guys, man.
He abused him, though.
Yeah, but like everyone abused Chandler. In reality, his only real legit win is Dan Hooker.
What do you think about Paddy versus Charles? Now?
Tony Ferguson on his way out doesn't really count. You know
What
what
do
I
you
mean?
think about Paddy versus Charles?
Bro, that's what I want to see. Charles Oliveira, Paddy, #1 contender. But then here's the thing. I don't want to throw Paddy yet. Like, I think he needs like another year of
He's
fighting.
been fighting long enough.
I don't know, bro. It's different level. Like each level he's got to get, because he was sitting too tall, getting hit a little too much. You know what I mean? Where Islam's going to sit a little bit lower. Like, I think his grappling.
Paddy versus Islam, I think Paddy gets killed.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to think long term for Paddy. He's the only real threat to Islam.
He's a thick boy, that's for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and Islam won't just take him down and be able to submit him. So I want to see Paddy fight, like, not another, like, killer like Charles Oliveira, but maybe like a Benelli Darush, right? Winner.
Benil or maybe Gaethje or Dustin Poirier even.
Paddy versus Gaethje?
Yeah, Gaethje would. But even Gaethje, though, is like, should be waiting for the title shot.
And what about Dan Hooker? He's kind of just sitting there.
Yeah, Dan Hooker. I mean, that would be a good one. But yeah, Dan Hooker, actually, that's a great fight. Like, but you know, like, you want to see Paddy, like, you know what I mean, develop a little bit more. Like, don't throw him in, like, because Islam will just beat him and then it's over with.
Yeah, then maybe a Benil Dariush would be a good fight, or even a Fiziev coming off his loss.
Yeah, Fiziev, like one of those top.
I think Gaethje would be a good one. Or Dustin's not going to fight. But I think Dustin versus I think Gaethje versus Paddy, because Paddy's still like a little boy. You know what he reminds me of? Did you ever see that episode of South Park?
Yeah, but I also think Gaethje's just that next level still, where Paddy's just needs like another fight before those guys.
But tell me if this analogy lines up for you. You seen that episode of South Park where there was the little person teacher who was like about bullying, and Cartman beat his ass in the end? Like Cartman got into a fist fight with him.
Yeah.
And Cartman's just like this big goofy dude, but he beats up the little person, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Paddy is like Cartman. So he needs somebody who's really tough. Nobody looks at Chandler and they think he's a goofball.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need
they need him to fight somebody really like a mean dude like Gaethje.
Yeah, but not yet. Like, because Gaethje's just in line for a title. You know what I mean? Like, and there's no one else for Islam. Islam versus Gaethje hasn't happened. You know what I mean?
Well, Islam's supposed to fight. He was going to fight Armin or Topuria now.
Yeah, exactly. And then Gaethje should fight maybe another top, like Poirier again would be exciting. But
didn't he just fight Charles?
Charles again. Yeah, he just fought Charles. But then then you got all this like time for Paddy to kind of still. You know what I mean? Like, Islam has 2 or 3 fights.
Watching this performance, I think you're babying him too much. Bro.
He needs to be babied, bro. He's still fighting. He still has a lot of holes.
He's not young. He's old now. He's in his 30s.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, like, he still has holes in his striking that are really exposing, you know? And, like, he did a lot better. Like, there's nothing like fighting. Nothing gets your experience like fighting. And him getting on the inside and throwing with Chandler, great experience. But now we got to keep him, like, working towards it.
Okay. We're wrapping up. Let's talk main event. Diego versus Volk.
Did you guys want to talk about the Bryce Mitchell, Jeane Silva?
Oh, of course. Bryce, I know.
Jeane.
Bro, Jeane, and
I told you.
That's the most exciting division right now.
I told
Featherweight,
you that Jeane
I know,
bro.
Real. Bryce's wrestling got shut down.
Yeah, you said he just kept spamming takedowns later on?
Yeah, dude. And then once his wrestling, I knew it was over, and I was like...
He got put out by submission.
Yeah. Well, like, he was rocked, probably.
What was the choke on it?
Guillotine.
Guillotine.
No, but the other one that he sunk in on him.
A ninja choke. Yeah, he almost had it. Yeah. And you know, it was wild. It was Jeane just looked like the real deal out there. You know, those fighting nerds are really delivering.
I told you.
And like, he shut down his wrestling. But now it's like, all right, I think Bryce was maybe overrated.
Didn't it seem like Jeane was not worried the entire time? The same way he fought that Afghani, or who was it last time?
Yeah.
Wasn't it Afghani?
No.
Armenian
guy.
Yeah, so the same way, he just walks in there like he doesn't care.
Bro, okay, you know what I want to see?
That's aura.
Jeane Silva, Josh Emmett.
No, Josh Emmett's too low for him. I think Jeane Silva needs to skyrocket now.
Josh Emmett just won again.
Yeah, but he's...
Oh, no, he just lost. Never mind. Ian Murphy. Okay, how about that? Ian Murphy.
No, he needs to be... Is Jeane Silva ranked now?
No, not right now.
Dana said he's going to probably be top 10,
top
10
for
even.
sure.
So he needs a top 10 guy.
Yeah, who's top 10 in that division?
You got Aljo, Leroy Murphy.
Aljo would
be
great
for Murphy's
Arnold
better.
Allen.
Murphy's coming off a win.
Aljo would be a great fight.
Arnold Allen.
Aljo's just lost to Mozart.
Brian Ortega. And then
Brian Ortega is overrated and should not be in that top 10.
Yeah, he's 6 right now. Then you got the top 5, Yair.
How is he in there? You know what I mean? Or, dude, Yair and Jeane Silva.
No, that's too much for... Yair's going to get his title shot soon. That's for sure.
Yeah. You think so?
I think Aljo. I think Aljo would be a good fight for this kid.
Aljo's coming off a loss. He won't make it exciting.
But that would be 2 wrestlers in a row that Jeane Silva puts to bed.
Yeah.
And therefore puts away the argument, and now he can start fighting some strikers.
Yeah, I think Sterling needs a bounce back fight. You know what I mean? You can't.
I think his day is past. I think they use him like a stepping stone.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, that's exactly what they're gonna. And that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They gave Mozart to him.
Okay, let's talk main event. Diego Lopes, Volkanovski.
And that's the other featherweight. So who's next for Alex?
Volk?
Yeah,
You're
Volkanovski.
That's interesting. Yeah, didn't we just say Yair?
You said Yair.
No, you said Yair. I said Yair needs to fight. Diego.
Yeah, but that's just a hype fight. There's no one really else for. I think it should be Mozart. Evloev versus Alex, and then those two fight for the number 1 contender.
Yeah.
And then you get Jeane Silva versus Ian Murphy, who just was main event. That's a great fight. And then the winner of that is right in the mix.
I think they really like Jeane. I think he's got a lot of personality, and I know Hunter likes him.
Yeah.
A lot.
Which, how about this one? What about next week or this weekend? The next Fighting Nerd is Pradas versus Ian Gary.
I think Ian Gary has taken enough verbal abuse that he's going to beat the crap out of this kid.
You think that's going to be the first loss out of all the Fighting Nerds?
Yeah, I think for all we say about Ian, he's a fighter.
Bro, that's what I think.
He fought Yuri just recently?
Shavkat and lost a close decision. And I think he beats Pradas, and then he's number one contender. Him versus, he's a problem for Bilal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bilal's a problem for everybody, but Ian just has a lot of tools, and he's got a lot of weapons. And then Shavkat coming back. So, dude, all these weights are kind of getting exciting.
Yeah, it's getting good.
Yeah.
And there's also a lot of, especially with the advent of the Fighting Nerds, there's a lot of good trash talking going on.
Yeah, the Fighting Nerds.
It's becoming more geared towards the casuals because it's been technical for a while.
Yeah. That's one of the advantages of it being sold and being on mainstream stuff is and being owned with part owners of the WWE. It is showmanship. It is that. As much as I love the sport of it, I know that nerds with their glasses on right there, you guys want to see a bunch of fighting. You're wearing this because of Fighting Nerds. You should get the one. And then, it's funny, on Friday night, that one kid from Agima, I drew a blank. But he fought, and he's tough. He just took the kid down and submitted him. And then he puts on his Fighting Nerd glasses. And so there's kind of starting a little bit of a revolution.
A movement,
Yeah. And I kind of hope Pradas wins.
Yeah.
I become a fan.
I don't think he will. I think Gary's going to get him. But
what's funny, though? Everyone's so caught up on Pradas's smoking cigarettes. I'm like, oh, my gosh. It's the only story about him. I smoked 10 to 15. That's all they talk about.
That's from their culture.
Yeah.
It's cool. All right. Well, I think you owe me some money. We'll settle up afterwards. Guys, thanks as always for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one. Boom.